I heard once that top 5 lists are the lowest form of conversation. I don't care. We don't care so much so that this is going to be a 2-part video. First part's going to be me, second part's going to be Chris. Alright, so come back later on for his list. But today's going to be my list of my top 5 favorite arcade games growing up. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't have any like Street Fighter or Tekken games in here because I'd be lying to you if I said that I played those games at arcades growing up, because I didn't. I went for like the fun experiences. I didn't go for like competitive fighting because those were taken up by sweats. I'm not a sweat in that department. Anyway, the first one that I want to talk about today, it was a little game called I Don't Know, but it was a Safari game. They had it mainly at our local pizza joint here, Peter Piper Pizza. I don't know if that's a actual like chain. I don't think it is. But anyway, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it has way better pizza and way better games. And one of them was a Safari game. You might have seen it. You just drive a safari truck and you hunt down each animal. It's like, here's a zebra, go get a zebra, or here's a wildebeest. And you're driving your little Jeep and you have like a gear shift and that shoots your rope and you have to like hog tie it and like hold on while it like wrangles you and you have to pull it in. And each animal you catch gives you stars based on how big or pretty it is. It's kind of like Big Buck Hunter, but you're driving a car instead. So it felt cool as a kid to be like in the Jeep, and it made you want to like go out on like a wild expedition and maybe find some sort of wildlife. So yeah, that was a sick game. I really enjoyed that one. That was like the first one I went to whenever I went to like Peter Piper. I'm like, let me go play the Safari game. All right, second one. I think this is what really launched the Wii specifically. It was a boxing game. I don't know if it was Mike Tyson or whatever, but it was a game you stand and it was like a VR type thing. You picked up these gloves and you would like fight, and it would tell you like, hey, hit here, and you would hit, and then hit here, you would hit. And I remember it distinctly is that like you would get the person groggy and then it would say like 30 hits. So you had to pick up your gloves and like punch that thing for like 30 hits. And as a kid, you're like not in shape, and it makes you feel sore and you're sweaty, but it makes you feel like you're actually in the fight. I love that game. It was just like straight boxing, and it kind of felt like Punch Out because like you had to like work your way up through the ranks. I never got past like the first, second guy because I was like stupid tired whenever I would finish this. I'm like, man. So you're like, at one point you would just pick up the glove and you would just like go like that in front of the screen, and it would count like your fists and how many punches you're doing. So I love that one a lot, and I feel like that really got a big, motivation to make the Wii. I know it didn't, but for me, in my headcanon, that was what they were like, you know what, we could do something with motion controls here. All right, and going back into like another car situation here, Crazy Taxi. What kind of game would it be, or what kind of list would it be if we didn't include Crazy Taxi? What a sick concept. Hey, we want to have a game where you're a taxi driver. Okay, is there anything else you can tell us? You're radical and you pick up people in the streets of San Francisco and you take them to the locations. They're like, you know what? Sure, do it. And they did it, and it was sick. And I remember like it came out at one point like on like I think it was like the 64 or something, and you could play it at home, but it wasn't the same. It was more fun to do it at the arcade. This one was like at a local pizza joint here too as well, but it wasn't like a big pizza joint. It was just like a mom and pop one, but they had a Crazy Taxi machine. You get in and be like, Crazy Taxi, and you're like, yes, I'm there. I had to pick up passengers, get them there on time, and it was just a fun concept of a game. You don't get crazy stupid games like that anymore. And yeah, every time I see one, because there's still some that are out there in the wild, I want to play it, and it's a fun time for me. And again, another game that I struggled with as a kid, getting like past like the second or third person you pick up, because you have to get like fucking 30 miles within 2 seconds, and you're like, I can't do that, and they do it on purpose. But love Crazy Taxi. All right, so I didn't say there wasn't going to be any like arcade fighting games, but there is going to be a classic staple within the arcade scene, which is going to be a beat 'em up. More specifically, the Simpsons beat 'em up. I love that thing. The art of that is so fantastic. I'm not like the biggest Simpsons fan, but playing that game growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be Bart. And I was never Bart. I was always Marge, because I'd be like family or whatever, and everybody would pick all the cool ones. So I'd be Marge with her vacuum, and I would hit people. And yeah, I just like that. It's like the more fun thing to do when you have multiple people. It wasn't just like a fighting game. It was like, okay, let's all be on a team for once, and let's all cooperate, and let's beat them up. And yeah, Simpsons had like good art. The acting in it, the voice acting was still funny, and then just like the premise of it, just the Simpsons are running around town beating up thugs. Like that's why, but why not? I love it. And yeah, I don't know what the first beat 'em up was. That'd be interesting to look into. I don't know off the top of my head. You know?
River City Ransom, maybe.
River City Ransom. Chris says behind the camera. Maybe. But Simpsons, I think, did a really good job of like making beat 'em ups accessible and fun to the mainstream audience. I feel like, at least for the children growing up at that time. And my final one, another motion control game here. So there's a local arcade here in Arizona. It's a staple called Castles and Coasters, and they have like, it's literally like, it's a castle, and inside of it has a bunch of arcades, different floors or whatever. This is way better than Dave & Buster's and like all that. That's mainstream. This is like a local homegrown arcade that became a sensation here. Anyway, they had the boxing game, but they also had another motion control game, and I know all cops are bastards, but hey, listen, they had this cop game where you would stand again in the box, you pick up your gun, and you would like pretend to walk, and then you would aim to shoot, and then you have to like duck out of the way, duck down, pick up, and then shoot again. And it was just the whole motion control of it that I really enjoyed. But yeah, that cop game specifically, that was another one where I was like, I gotta go play this. If I can't play boxing, I'm gonna play this one because I want to get my steps in somehow as a child. And yeah, your knees would be on fire by the end of it because you're like squatting, leaning to the side, whatever, and you're handling like hostage situations and all that stuff. And it was just a cool, fun experience because it gave you more to do than just like Time Crisis where you go, oh, okay, shoot. Okay, come down and shoot. It was a little bit more interactive and more fun, so I did like that. And I want to say the gun looked cool too. That's probably it. So yeah, those are my top 5 arcade games growing up that are not just fighters, okay? This is my list specifically. These are my choices, okay? Don't get down there in the comments and bash them. I mean, you can if you want to. I can't control you. But for me, those are the most nostalgic and the most meaningful to me. And yeah, I love me some motion controls, and I love me some sit down and drive them, I guess. That's the main thing there. So what are some of your favorites? Let us know down below in the comments. What are some of your least favorites? Do you fuck with my list? Do you not fuck with it? Let me know. But also, like I said, this is a part 1. So come back a couple days from now. You'll get Chris's list of his top 5 arcade games. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Subscribe down below. Follow down below. And go put some more coins in the system and play some more arcade games, I guess.